Late one evening, I found myself waiting alone at a desolate bus stop on the outskirts of town. The streetlights flickered ominously, casting eerie shadows on the empty road. As I stood there, a chill ran down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Suddenly, I heard faint whispers coming from the dark alley nearby. My heart pounded as I strained to make out the words. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end when I realized the voices were getting closer. Panic set in, and I considered running, but my feet were rooted to the spot. Out of the darkness emerged a group of hooded figures, their faces obscured by shadows. They moved towards me in a slow, deliberate manner. Fear consumed me as I tried to rationalize what was happening. One of them stepped forward, holding an old, worn-out doll. Its lifeless eyes seemed to bore into my soul. Another figure produced a rusty knife, and my breath caught in my throat. I felt trapped, like a prey surrounded by predators. As they closed in, I summoned the last of my courage and screamed for help. To my surprise, a distant light flickered, and the sound of an approaching vehicle filled the air. The figures hesitated, giving me a moment to bolt towards the oncoming headlights. The bus came to a screeching halt, its doors opening just in time for me to dive inside. Gasping for breath, I managed to tell the driver about the hooded figures at the bus stop. He looked alarmed and immediately called the authorities. The bus driver drove away from that chilling scene, taking me to safety. To this day, I can't forget the terror I felt that night. The memory of the hooded figures and the haunting whispers at the bus stop still sends shivers down my spine, reminding me that true horror can be found in the most unexpected places. Late one evening, as I waited alone at a dimly lit bus stop, a chilling feeling washed over me. I noticed a man standing at a distance, staring intently in my direction. Ignoring the unease, I decided to walk away, hoping to find safety in numbers at the nearby convenience store. To my dismay, the man followed me, his footsteps echoing ominously. My heart raced as I quickened my pace, but he matched my every step, never saying a word. With fear gripping my entire being, I finally reached the store and rushed inside, desperately seeking help from the cashier. As I looked out, the man was gone. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that I was being targeted that night, and I'll never forget that terrifying encounter at the bus stop. Once, late at night, I found myself waiting alone at a desolate bus stop. The streetlights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. A chilling wind rustled the nearby trees, adding to the spooky atmosphere. Suddenly, I heard faint footsteps approaching. My heart raced as a figure emerged from the darkness, wearing a tattered coat and a worn-out hat. The person seemed lost and disoriented, mumbling incomprehensible words. Instinctively, I tried to keep my distance, but as the bus took its time arriving, I couldn't help but glance back at the stranger. To my horror, the figure was now standing unnervingly close, staring blankly into the distance. Fear gripped me as I anxiously awaited the bus, praying for it to arrive soon. Finally, the bus appeared, its headlights illuminating the chilling scene. I quickly boarded and glanced back one last time. To my astonishment, the mysterious stranger had vanished, leaving me shaken and haunted by that night's unsettling encounter at the bus stop. Alright, here's a fictional scary bus stop horror story for you. It was a chilly autumn evening, and the sun was beginning to set as I made my way to the bus stop. The bus stop was located just outside a dense forest, offering an eerie backdrop to my waiting. As I stood alone, a feeling of unease settled within me, but I brushed it off as mere nervousness. Minutes turned into what felt like hours, and still, no sign of the bus. The only sound that broke the silence was the rustling of leaves in the wind. I could feel the darkness creeping in, causing my heart to pound a little faster. The flickering streetlight provided little comfort, casting distorted shadows on the nearby walls. Suddenly, I noticed a figure emerging from the trees. A man, tall and thin, with a disheveled appearance. My heart skipped a beat as he approached me, a sinister grin slowly spreading across his face. His eyes, glazed and filled with malevolence, met mine. Unease turned into fear as he moved closer, his footsteps echoing in the now silent street. I instinctively took a step back, my mind racing, searching for an escape plan. But before I could react, he spoke in a chilling and raspy voice. "Going my way, dear." His words sent shivers down my spine, and I mustered the courage to reply, "No, I'm waiting for the bus." His grin widened, revealing yellowed, crooked teeth. "Ah, the bus," he chuckled darkly. "Unfortunately, it won't be coming tonight. But don't worry, I can take you wherever you need to go." His words sent a surge of panic through my veins. I turned to run, but before I could take a step, he lunged towards me, his bony hand reaching out to grab me. Adrenaline pulsed through my body as I fought against his grip, desperation clouding my mind. Thankfully, at that moment, headlights appeared in the distance. A car approached rapidly, its horn blaring loudly. The man, startled, released his grip as the vehicle screeched to a halt beside us. The driver, a middle-aged woman with a concerned expression, called out to me, "Get in quickly." Without hesitation, I jumped into the car, feeling the rush of relief wash over me. As we sped away, I glanced out the back window, catching a fleeting glimpse of the man disappearing back into the darkness of the forest. I never found out who that man was or what his intentions were, but the terrifying encounter at the bus stop has stayed with me. From that day forward, I always made sure to have someone accompany me whenever I had to wait for the bus in the fading light, never wanting to be alone in the presence of unknown horrors again. I once waited at a desolate bus stop on a foggy winter night. As I stood alone, I heard faint whispers in the distance and noticed shadows moving in the mist. Suddenly, an old woman emerged from the darkness, her eyes piercing and hair tangled. She muttered incoherent words, sending shivers down my spine. When the bus finally arrived, I hurriedly boarded, only to realize that the old woman was nowhere to be seen. As the bus pulled away, I caught a glimpse of her ghostly figure disappearing into the fog, leaving me with an unsettling feeling that I'll never forget. If you enjoy listening to scary horror content just like this, then hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you are updated on when I post a new video.